I fell for my sister's ex and announced our relationship to the family. My parents were thrilled and stood by me, but my sister, Ashley, completely flipped out. She accused me of stealing her boyfriend, demanded I break things off, and eventually cut ties with not just me but our parents too. Hey, Reddit! Long-time lurker here. Honestly, I never thought I'd end up posting, but my life has turned into a full-blown soap opera, and I need some outside perspective. Buckle up, this is going to be a wild ride. I'm 29, and I recently got engaged to my fiancé, Ethan, who's 34. He's the kindest, smartest, and most amazing man I've ever met. He's everything I've ever wanted in a partner. But here's the catch: Ethan used to date my sister, Ashley, who's 31. Now, Ashley's furious, claiming I betrayed her in the worst way imaginable. She's even threatened to completely cut me and my parents out of her life if they don't stop supporting me. She's basically declared war on me and my relationship. Before you judge me, let me give you the full story. Ashley and Ethan were together for 5 years, but they broke up 2 years ago. From what I've been told, their relationship wasn't nearly as picture-perfect as Ashley always made it seem. Ethan shared with me that they'd grown apart and had some major differences, like how Ashley wanted to stay in our small town forever while he dreamed of traveling and eventually settling in the city. By the last year of their relationship, they were stuck in a rut, so they mutually decided to end things. Or at least, that's how Ethan described it to me. Fast forward to about a year ago, my parents hosted a big holiday party. Ethan showed up because he's still on great terms with my mom and dad. Back then, I didn't think much of it. To me, he was just Ashley's ex. I'd never really paid him much attention before. But during that party, we ended up talking a lot. For the first time, I felt like I really saw him. We clicked in a way I hadn't expected, and I started noticing all the little things about him that I'd never picked up on before. Over the next few months, we kept running into each other at family events. I started to realize I had feelings for him, which completely caught me off guard. At first, I tried to push those feelings away. After all, he was my sister's ex. But then I thought, why should I feel guilty for something I can't control? They'd been broken up for a long time. Life moves on, and love can show up in the most unexpected places, right? 6 months ago, Ethan admitted that he had feelings for me too, and we decided to give it a shot. At first, we kept things quiet because we wanted to make sure our relationship was solid before telling the family. Once we were confident about us, we decided to come clean. I knew Ashley might have mixed feelings, but I honestly didn't think she'd react the way she did. When I told Ashley about Ethan and me, I tried to break the news gently. I said something like, "I need to tell you something, and I want you to hear it from me first. Ethan and I have been seeing each other, and it's serious. I know this might be hard for you, but I hope you can understand that we're in love." But she didn't understand at all. She completely blew up. She yelled, called me a backstabber, and accused me of betraying her. "Of all the men in the world, you had to pick the one person I loved the most," she shouted. I tried explaining that this wasn't something I planned, that love just happened. But Ashley wouldn't hear it. She said I was selfish, that I'd always been selfish, and that I'd crossed a line I could never come back from. And it didn't end there. Ashley called our parents, thinking they'd take her side. But to both her surprise and mine, they supported me. My mom said something like, "Love doesn't always follow rules, Ashley. You can't dictate who Lauren falls for. Ethan's a great guy, and we're happy for them." My dad chimed in, agreeing with my mom. He told Ashley she needed to move on because her relationship with Ethan had ended years ago. But Ashley wasn't having it. She accused them of always favoring me and declared that this was the final straw. Now, she's refusing to attend any family gatherings and says she won't speak to our parents or me unless I break things off with Ethan. She's even gone so far as to say she won't come to my wedding. I told her that was her choice, but I wasn't about to let her bitterness derail my happiness. Here's the thing, Ashley's reaction didn't come out of the blue. Our relationship has always been complicated. Growing up, I was the outgoing, confident one and the cheerleader, the social butterfly who brought home trophies and always made our parents proud. Ashley, on the other hand, was more introverted and serious. She was the quiet overachiever who kept her nose in books and stuck to herself. Because of that, I think our parents naturally gravitated toward me. It's not that they didn't love Ashley, but I think they just found it easier to connect with me. That dynamic carried into adulthood. Ashley has always been the responsible one with the steady 9-to-5 job and quiet, predictable life. I've always chased my passions, taken risks, and embraced change, which my parents admire. I think Ashley sees this situation with Ethan as yet another example of me stealing the spotlight and getting what I want while she feels left behind. But is that really my fault? I can't control how our parents feel, nor can I control the fact that Ethan fell in love with me instead of her. I understand this situation is sensitive and awkward. But at the end of the day, Ashley and Ethan weren't meant to be. Their relationship had its time, but it didn't work out, and it ended for a reason. I didn't swoop in and steal Ethan. They'd been broken up for 2 years before anything happened between us. Love doesn't come with a rulebook. It's not fair for Ashley to expect me to give up my happiness to protect her pride. Life is full of awkward situations, we can't just run from them. Shouldn't we all act like adults and move forward? I love Ethan, and I know he loves me. I'm not going to throw away a relationship that makes me truly happy just to soothe Ashley's bruised ego. I've tried reaching out to her several times, hoping we could talk things through, but she refuses to engage. She's made it crystal clear she won't accept my relationship with Ethan, and now she's threatening to cut ties with the entire family. To me, that feels like a massive overreaction, but maybe I'm missing something. Am I really the one in the wrong here? Edit, a few extra details to clarify, Ashley and Ethan didn't have kids, weren't married, and didn't even live together. Their breakup was mutual. It's not like I'm interfering in some epic love story here. Ethan and I are planning a small, intimate wedding next spring. I'd love for Ashley to be there, but I'm not going to beg her. For those saying I owe her loyalty as my sister, where's her loyalty to me? If Ashley really loves me, shouldn't she want me to be happy? Update, hey Reddit, I'm back. First off, thank you to everyone who weighed in on my original post, even those who weren't exactly kind. I've read through all the comments, and while I appreciate the different perspectives, I want to make one thing very clear: I don't regret my relationship with Ethan. I love him, and that's not going to change. But things with Ashley have gone from bad to worse, and honestly, I don't even know where to start. After my last post, I decided to try reaching out to Ashley again. Despite everything, I didn't want things to spiral any further. I texted her, saying, I know you're upset, but we're sisters. Can we talk this through? Her reply was ice cold and cut deeper than I expected. She wrote back, you're not my sister anymore. You're just someone I used to know. Then, she blocked me on every social media platform. I thought that was the end of it, but Ashley wasn't done. A few days later, my phone started buzzing with messages from extended family members asking what was going on. That's when I found out Ashley had posted a long, emotional rant on Facebook, airing all of our dirty laundry for everyone to see. In her post, she accused me of the ultimate betrayal, dating and now planning to marry her ex. She claimed that Ethan and I had been flirting while they were still together, which is a blatant lie. She also accused our parents of always favoring me, enabling my so-called selfish behavior, and letting me steal Ethan without a second thought. Ashley even wrote that I'd been jealous of her my entire life, unable to stand her happiness, and that's why I had to take the one thing that mattered to her. When I saw it, I was beyond furious. Not only was she twisting the truth, but she was making herself look like the victim while portraying me as some conniving, jealous monster. I immediately showed the post to my parents, and they were just as outraged as I was. My mom didn't waste any time, she called Ashley and demanded she take it down. Ashley's response? You've picked your favorite daughter, so enjoy her, because you're losing me. Ashley's post sent shockwaves through our family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, and even family friends started taking sides. Some messaged me privately, saying they couldn't believe I would do something so heartless to my own sister. Others suggested I apologize and break things off with Ethan for the sake of keeping the family together. But not everyone turned against me. A handful of people, including my parents, said Ashley was blowing things way out of proportion and needed to move on. They pointed out that she and Ethan broke up 2 years ago, and she couldn't claim ownership over someone she's no longer with. Still, the damage was done. Family group chats are in shambles. People are whispering behind my back, treating me like the villain of the century. The drama even spilled over into my friend group. Mutual friends of Ashley and me reached out, leading to a string of awkward conversations where I had to defend myself and my relationship with Ethan. Eventually, I decided to address the situation head-on. I made my own post, writing, "Ethan and Ashley ended their relationship 2 years ago and haven't been involved in each other's lives since. Ethan and I got together months after their breakup. We didn't plan this, it just happened. Love isn't something you can control. I shouldn't have to sacrifice my happiness just because Ashley is bitter." Some people supported me, but others doubled down, accusing me of trying to justify selfish behavior. Honestly, it's starting to feel like a no-win situation. Through all of this, my parents have been my rock, and I'm so grateful for their support. But their involvement has also made things messy. They've been vocal about siding with me, and that's only fueled Ashley's anger. My mom told me she's holding on to a grudge because she's jealous of you. Lauren, don't let her bitterness ruin your happiness. My dad even tried to sit down with Ashley for a face-to-face conversation, hoping to smooth things over. But according to him, it didn't go well. Ashley accused them of always taking my side, saying, "You've let Lauren walk all over me my entire life, and now you're doing it again." When my dad told her she was overreacting, she stormed out. She hasn't spoken to them since. Now my parents are absolutely heartbroken. Ashley refuses to attend any family gatherings, including Christmas. She flat out told them, "If Lauren is there, I won't be." My mom tried pleading with her to reconsider, but Ashley wouldn't budge. Her final words on the matter were, "I'm done with this family. Enjoy your golden child." It hurts more than I care to admit to see Ashley go to such extremes. I understand she's upset, but this feels like an overreaction of epic proportions. It's not like Ethan and I tore apart a marriage or broke up a family. Ashley and Ethan weren't married, didn't have kids, and their relationship ended long ago. Why can't she just move on? And the whole "you've always been the favorite" thing? That's just her projecting her insecurities. Yes, I've always been closer to my parents, but that's not my fault. Ashley chose to keep her distance, focusing on her own path, while I stayed close to home and built a stronger relationship with them. If anything, she's the one who's drawn this line between us. I'm not saying I'm perfect, I know I'm not. But I also don't think I deserve to be vilified for falling in love. Ashley has officially cut ties with me, my parents, and most of the family. She's made it clear she wants nothing to do with any of us as long as I'm with Ethan. As for Ethan, he's been my rock through all of this. He constantly reminds me that we're not doing anything wrong and that Ashley's drama shouldn't dictate our future. At this point, I don't know if Ashley and I will ever reconcile. I'm trying my best to focus on my future with Ethan, but the weight of watching my family splinter over this is hard to shake. Update. Hey Reddit, it's me again, Lauren. This time, though, I'm stepping back and letting Ethan share his side of the story. I've read a lot of comments accusing him of being shady, manipulative, or even trying to pit me and Ashley against each other. So, I thought it was only fair to let him explain things from his perspective. Here's Ethan's side, written by him but posted on my account. Hi everyone, this is Ethan. First off, I want to thank Lauren for giving me the chance to share my thoughts. This entire situation has gotten messy, and while I'm not the kind of person who usually airs his thoughts online, I feel like it's important to set the record straight. Let me start from the beginning. Ashley and I were together for 5 years, and while there were good times, the truth is, our relationship wasn't as great as it may have seemed. I cared about Ashley, but the reality is, we were fundamentally different people. She's grounded, practical, and thrives on stability. I'm more of a dreamer. I want to explore, take risks, and truly experience life. In the beginning, we tried to make our differences work, but over time, it became clear we were heading in opposite directions. By the final year of our relationship, we were more like roommates than partners. We rarely fought, but there was no spark left. I started feeling trapped, stuck in a relationship that had no real future. And honestly, I think Ashley felt the same way, even if she won't admit it. I wasn't happy, and I couldn't see myself spending the rest of my life in something so stagnant. So, after a lot of soul-searching, I made the hard decision to end things. And for the record? The breakup wasn't as mutual as Ashley likes to claim. She wanted to keep trying, but I knew it would only delay the inevitable. I told her we both deserved the chance to find someone truly right for us. It was a tough conversation, but I believed it was the right thing to do. Fast forward about a year. I was single, rebuilding my life, and attending one of Lauren's family holiday parties when I ran into her. I'd met her before, of course, but this time, something was different. We ended up talking for hours, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to be around her. Lauren has this energy, she's lively, spontaneous, and willing to embrace life's uncertainties. She's everything I wasn't getting in my previous relationship, and for the first time in a long while, I felt alive again. David continues. Jess is the kind of person who makes you feel like anything is possible, and I couldn't help but be drawn to her. At first, I felt conflicted about my feelings because of her connection to Ashley. But the more time I spent with Jess, the more I realized that what we had was real. I didn't pursue her lightly. I took time to think about whether this was the right thing to do, not just for me, but for everyone involved. Ultimately, I decided I couldn't ignore my feelings for her. Yes, it's a messy situation, but life is messy. One of the biggest criticisms I've seen is that I should have told Ashley about my relationship with Jess sooner. Looking back, maybe I could have handled that better. But here's the thing, I didn't feel like I owed her an explanation. Ashley and I were over. She had no claim over me or my future relationships. As far as I was concerned, who I chose to date was none of her business. That said, I knew this situation would be sensitive. Jess and I agreed to keep things quiet initially because we wanted to make sure our relationship was serious before involving anyone else. Once we knew we were committed to each other, we told the family. Ashley's reaction was way more explosive than I expected. But honestly, I think her anger has less to do with me and more to do with her history with Jess. Let me address the elephant in the room. Did I have feelings for Jess while I was still with Ashley? No, I didn't. When I was with Ashley, I was committed to her. It wasn't until long after our breakup that Jess and I reconnected and began seeing each other differently. The idea that Jess stole me from Ashley is ridiculous. I'm not a possession, and neither is Jess. Relationships end for a reason, and just because Ashley and I didn't work out doesn't mean I'm off limits to anyone else. Ashley has every right to feel hurt. But she doesn't have the right to control my life or Jess's. I don't want to bash Ashley because I know this has been hard for her. But I think her reaction has been unfair. She's acting like Jess and I set out to hurt her, when in reality, we just fell in love. She's using this situation to air out years of unresolved resentment toward Jess, which has nothing to do with me. To be honest, Ashley has always been a bit controlling. During our relationship, things often had to be her way or no way. I think her anger now is less about me and more about her feeling like she's lost control of the situation. Holding on to this grudge seems to give her a sense of power, but it's not healthy for anyone involved. I love Jess, and I'm not going to let Ashley's bitterness ruin what we have. I understand this situation is complicated, but I don't think we've done anything wrong. Life is too short to let other people's opinions dictate your happiness. Jess and I are building a future together, and I'm excited for what's ahead. To Ashley, if you're reading this, I hope one day you can move past your anger and see that this wasn't about hurting you. I wish you happiness and hope you find someone who's a better match for you than I ever was. But I'm not going to apologize for loving Jess. Jess adds. That's it from David. I know some people might still think we're in the wrong, but I hope this clears up some of the misconceptions about our relationship. At the end of the day, we just want to move forward and focus on our life together. As for Ashley, I'm deeply saddened that it's come to this. But I've come to terms with the fact that I can't change her feelings or her choices. If she wants to cut ties, that's her decision, but I'm not going to let her anger dictate how I live my life. Thank you for reading and sharing your thoughts.